Your host Caleb.
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
Except
We've nailed the intro,
yeah, we
but
got
God
that.
forbid I figure something out for the exit.
Um, I think though that at this point that's the joke.
Uh,
And actually, speaking of jokes, Harith gave me a good idea for the season finale.
oh yeah.
So to kind of give y'all a little insight of the season finale, we're gonna make this man try to figure out the timeline of the stuff we talked about for the
Yep.
show.
Yep.
I told you off air. I was hanging out with Harith in Discord last night, talking different stuff, Star Wars, Marvel, all the properties that we enjoy, and I ended up telling him about the idea for the finale.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You know what would make it better? Have Seth do it while drunk."
Oh God.
And he's not
Sure you
wrong.
want- Oh, you.
And I think we should also do like themed mixed drinks.
Mm.
So because this season has been High Republic focused,
Yeah.
it should be a High Republic mixed drink. So I'm gonna start looking into like some mixed drinks that are like High Republic vibe. You know. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Let's hit him with a playback loop.
Yeah, I got the playback loop. I was double checking our stream.
Because we stream in more than 2 places now. Is that correct?
That is correct. For those of y'all watching, in case y'all don't know, we stream on my Facebook, on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick.
Mm.
And I've thought about doing Twitter as well, but I have because apparently, like with Restream, which is what we use, a little behind the scenes knowledge of what we do here. We use Restream, and I finally started paying for it, so that's what allows us to do more than just 2. It gives you up to 5 for the one I'm paying for. And one of the places that they give you as an because they give you a list of all the ones that you can connect it to. And one of them is Twitter, and I don't know how that would work. I'm curious. I'm just curious enough to maybe try it out for one episode and see how
happens.
Yeah. Like how it works. Is it just going to be the audio? Because you have the Twitter Spaces now, which is essentially like hosting a live event on Twitter, but it's just audio usually. But yeah, so we have some Star Wars news, but before we get into it, let's talk about our week and the fun stuff we've been up to. So I introduced you to a game.
Yes, you did.
And I think we talked about it when I introduced you to it.
Yeah.
But now you've started playing it. So I think it was a couple episodes back. A couple episodes back, we talked about how I introduced you to The Outer Worlds, which is a game from Obsidian. And I like Obsidian RPGs. So and you like Obsidian RPGs, like you like their take on Fallout. And I don't think. Well, you haven't played Knights of the Republic 1 or 2, but you've seen the gameplay. I don't know what your preference is regarding 1 and 2. In terms of like, do you prefer 1 or 2? I prefer 1, but I can see the appreciation for 2.
Well,
because 1 is very much a very basic light versus dark, good versus evil story. 2 is a little bit more nuanced.
Yeah, I'd say that.
2 goes a little bit more nuanced. While it definitely still says the Sith are evil, it's more nuanced about good versus evil and what good people do to influence the world around them. And is it good to do certain things?
Yeah.
Of course, the person introducing this nuance is not a good person, so maybe we should take their advice. Yeah, take their advice with a grain of salt.
Bitch. Oh God.
But yeah,
we've gone over like that character in particular, sometimes on air, sometimes off. And
I've definitely gone over it on my TikTok because I've been like, hey, this bitch in particular, and well, I don't have a problem with. So I'm just gonna say who it is: Darth Treya, because the game is old enough. It's
matter.
It's
you sad old lady.
It's
that
almost
got
been
your ass beat.
It's almost been 2 decades since that game came out. So like, I think I can freely talk about it.
Yeah.
It's been 2 decades since Knights 1. Because 2003 Game of the Year. And then what? Knights 2 was 2004 because they rushed it.
Oh yeah.
Because that's why Obsidian didn't finish it, because Obsidian never finishes games that they're given whenever they're given a sequel to something. It's like, hey, do a sequel to Fallout 3. Also, we're not going to give you a lot of time to do it. And that's why New Vegas is so buggy. Even though it's a fantastic game, it's really buggy. And also, I don't know if there's incomplete storylines like there is in Knights 2.
No, most of them are pretty complete.
Okay, because in Knights 2, there are...
Admittedly, I also have, like, all the DLCs.
Well, by that, I mean, like, is there stuff that they... Like, Knights 2, we know they cut content. Like, it's notorious that there was content that was cut from the final game.
There is cut content, but it's usually items.
Okay, so it's not, like, story.
Yeah.
Whereas Knights 2, it's story that was cut. Like, because they... Like, there's infamously the restored content mod for Knights 2, which restores all of that cut content, and you realize how much of it got cut when you play that.
Oh, man.
I think that's probably the only version you've seen, probably, is I bet, like, people that have played it and you've watched their gameplays of it, it's restored content mod version.
Yeah.
Because,
more
like...
than likely.
Because
I don't think...
If you're playing on PC, you're always playing restored content mod version, because that's what people play. Especially since Steam offers it as a...
Probably, yeah.
And then if it's the Switch version, it's not. The Switch version, they didn't, and I think I had my rant about the fact that it got canceled, that they were going to add it.
I am trying really hard not to sneeze right now, but...
Are you having a little bit of a summer allergies or something?
Yeah, I took, like, a Zyrtec before I left, and it's like...
It's starting to kick in, but not quite completely yet.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, so, like, I like Obsidian. I do like a lot of their games. I need to play the Pillars of Eternity games before Avowed comes out, because it's in the same universe. And I do like what I've seen from Avowed. The trailer looks fantastic. It looks like almost their take of, like, a Skyrim Elder Scrolls type game, because it's that first-person action RPG.
Yeah.
But fantasy, which is a first for Obsidian to do a first-person fantasy action RPG, because they tend to stick more sci-fi Western type things, because Fallout and then Outer Worlds, going back to the main topic of it.
Yeah.
So you started playing it.
Yes, I did. I went and I got done with the entire starting area after going and doing a bunch of side quests.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. They definitely did not skimp on story.
Yeah. You recently went on a
I'm taking a break.
Run?
Yeah, I'm taking a break from it, but I've finished the first starting area as well, and my massacre run is, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I'm just murder hoboing everybody. Just to see how the game reacts to it.
Yeah.
And the game is very much like, oh yeah, you don't have to talk to people to do the main story. Here you go. Because, like, a little bit of spoilers. It's light spoilers.
Yeah.
For the starting area, your main objective is to get a power source for the ship that you're going to have.
That's all you have to do.
Now, there's a lot you can do to get that power source, but you could skip a lot of it.
Yeah.
You
can just go into the...
Like, if you know where the power source is, you could just probably... There are 2 locations that you would have to go to get it done.
Yeah.
You would have to go to the geothermal plant, because you have to give power to the power source. And then you would just have to steal it from the settlers outside of the main city.
Yeah.
That's the 2 things you would have to do.
I did not do that.
No, you did the full quest, which is go to the main city, talk to the boss there. He tells you, "Hey, you need to go cut off their power and send the power to here."
Yeah.
So that way they'll come crawling back to the city, because the premise of Outer Worlds is that it's a late-stage capitalist in space.
Yeah.
I
have never been more infuriated in my... Like, I have enjoyed playing the game, but anytime
the politics of it,
I'm like, anytime I go to, like... I don't mind being on the Groundbreaker.
Yeah.
Because so far, most of the people I've met on the Groundbreaker have been pretty reasonable.
It's that first city that's very much they've they've drank the Kool-Aid in regards of like
Yeah.
how much they believe
I'm
in
like, oh god, I
uh
hate you.
Spacer's Choice, which is
Yeah.
one of the main companies, but there's like a few other
Yeah, there's a
companies.
few of them. And I'm like, I don't. Oh, I hate this so
Yeah.
much.
And of course, they are the bad guys because, like, Phineas is like, hey, these guys are awful.
Oh.
They are like, because Phineas is the guy that saves you at the start of the game because the premise is you are awoken after 200 years
I think so.
from being, you're basically been cryogenically frozen on a ship that was going from Earth to the Halcyon system, which is where where the story takes place. And basically, it's almost like if the Titanic went missing, but
Yeah.
like all the people still survived, and like Phineas found the Titanic essentially,
Yeah.
and he wakes you up,
And no one
and
believes.
yeah, but no one believes that the Titanic's been found essentially.
Yeah. The weird part to me is that so far I've just started lying to like.
Because it's easier to just act like you already existed in this world and that you're not from this spaceship than it
Yeah.
is to like try to explain it to these people.
Yeah, I think the first thing that happened is so when you get on the ship for the very first time and then you talk with Ada, your
Yeah,
AI computer.
Ada is hilarious, by the way.
I
She's
I think
infuriating, but in a fun way.
a genuine statement that came out of my mouth like earlier today was, "Thanks, Ada. Could you be less smarmy about that?"
Yeah, thanks Ada is probably like, but sarcastically is a sentence I say a lot when playing that game.
Like, I don't-
But like at the same time, I like Ada because it's a well written character, even if you like are frustrated with her because she is a bit of a smartass,
Yeah.
but she's an AI.
yeah,
She's like, I know better than you because I am a supercomputer.
I'm like, all right, yeah.
Um,
But the best part for me is that I immediately got back off of the ship, and of course there are the not Corsec. Why did I think they were called Corsec?
I know what you're talking about though, like the police force essentially.
Yeah, essentially the police were outside and they're like, "Is that your ship? Because you sure went on it like it was." And I'm like,
Oh yeah, like
a-
on the start. Are you talking about on the starting section when
Yeah.
you go on and you activate Ada and you tell her that yes, I'm the new captain,
Yeah.
and then you get off, and then the police are like, "Hey, is that your ship? Because you parked there illegally."
and it's like, "No, I'm a ship safety inspector." And they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Why the fuck would you believe me?"
What's funny is I lied to that man. No, it's even funnier because I killed all the police outside.
Yeah.
Because when when you're heading towards the ship at the start, you can choose to work with the police to kill the raiders.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
I
the
killed
way-
both sides.
I didn't kill anyone.
But
'cause I
also
couldn't have had this
it's my murder hobo run. So
Yeah.
like,
There's an
what's funny is the man gives you his gun. So in my murder hobo run, he gives me the gun, and I'm like,
bang.
right in his face.
I wanted to like help heal him up, but because of choosing a different dialogue option, I couldn't heal him.
And on top of that, it's the whole Spacer's Choice thing. Technically, you're not supposed to heal him
Well, fuck them.
because like
I'll take their
yeah.
gun and I'll heal their employee.
Yeah. And so,
Fuck this capitalism bullshit.
but yeah, and so like I killed both the raiders and the cops on my way in,
Yeah.
and then I got out, and there's this one guy that's walking up. He's like, "Hey, I was called here to help out. Did you kill these people?" And it's like, "No, no, sir, not me."
Nope.
And he
Never.
believed me. He walked away, and as he was walking away, this was before I went
Oh.
full because before at that time I was still trying to be sneaky about my kills. But then, like, eventually, like, the town still ends up, like, the meter still fills up eventually where they, like, all
Yeah.
will recognize you as a murderer. And it's just like, that's not how that should work. It should be that as long as I don't get caught, I should be able to get away with this.
Yeah. So I have two more like game instances.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, one of the side missions is go find this girl that's been missing from the greenhouse camp, the people that you
The
have
people
to
that
shut
left,
their
yeah,
power off,
yeah, the people that
the
left,
deserters.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll look into it if you motherfuckers will go back to town.
Okay, so you took the side of the town of
Oh,
you took Reed's side
I did, and then I did some stuff.
that made
then-
Reed mad.
No, I essentially was like, I went and I talked with every motherfucker in that area.
Oh, okay, and that kind of changed your perspective.
No, it didn't. I still took the power from the botanical people, and then I was like, but what if I put you in charge, Granny?
Oh yeah, because she tells you to go kill Reed.
And I'm like, I won't do that, but maybe I can persuade him.
Yeah, because that is another option, is you can persuade him to leave, which I think I've done in a run. I've been like, hey, you should just leave, because obviously you're not a good leader, and he even agrees. He's like, yeah, you're right, I'm
And
not.
I'm like, she has treatment for the plague, and she knows how to get crops growing. Because let's be real, your salt tuna ain't salt tunaing right now.
Yeah, the problem with salt tuna is people do not like it.
Yeah.
It's very much the salted bread on a ship, or salted ham or whatever. When you're on a ship, it's like, I can only eat so much of this.
And so, dealing with that, a funny thing that happened later during the go find this girl mission for the deserters.
Yep.
Well, I went and saw her, and I was like, oh, there's a quest marker over her head. Sad to say, I'm in the middle of a raider encampment. She's probably a raider. So I was just like, this is definitely a trap. So, bang.
Oh,
And
my
then
God.
she didn't die. So I go and I take out the rest of the marauders, and then I go and talk to her, and I'm like, go home, god damn it.
We have our special guest. The mic is on, so if you want to.
Oh, I'm on?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I just want to interrupt for a second.
Yes.
Did y'all see the Ahsoka trailer? Have you already talked about it?
Not
No,
yet.
Not yet. We're
Oh my
a little
god.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second, because he hasn't watched it yet, so we're going
I
to
haven't
watch
seen
it
it yet.
together.
What's wrong with you?
Well, because he doesn't keep up with that stuff. That's my job for him.
He has to let me know. He didn't let me know until today.
You're a bad friend.
I think.
Caleb doesn't disagree. He goes, eh.
Well, I think it works better to
No,
watch
good
it on the
friend.
show live.
No, I'm not just, I'm just.
I
You should.
mean, I'm a good friend, because we're talking about a game that he's enjoying now, thanks to my
What
recommendation.
are you playing?
Outer Worlds.
What is Outer Worlds?
It is a sci-fi space RPG that's from Obsidian. It's their like take on like a.
Andrew
What's
made
the
a
best
weird
way to-
comparison,
yeah.
and he's like, it's like if BioShock and Star Wars had a kid,
What's it on?
which is a very
It's,
weird
it's
take.
it's on a lot of modern consoles. So
I'm playing on
he's on PS4.
PS4.
So
Gotcha.
you could get it on Xbox, because it was on Game Pass
is.
for a minute.
You can get.
I don't know if it's still on Game Pass.
I'll
or
check
not.
it out when I get home this evening. I need
Yeah.
something new to play.
And I have it on Switch. I mean, it's on everything.
So I go and I find this girl, and after, I'm not gonna say accidentally shooting her. You put, and I'm like, go home, and she's like, but nobody cares about me. And I'm like, you're dumbass.
Oh, I know
Idiot
which storyline.
friend.
Yeah, I know what storyline you're talking about, because you can find her journals.
Yeah, and I read that, and I'm like, you're. This is some. You're the smartest dumb person I know. I don't know how you got this far, but you did.
Yeah, because when you read her journals, you see that she's like a big fan of this like Flash Gordon type thing, except it's about raiders. Like it's a raider like Flash Gordon type thing where the raiders are the heroes.
Cool.
And she's a fan of that, and she's like, I'm gonna be a raider for real, just like this character. And then then you run into her, and you're like, you're an idiot.
And it's like, also, she's like, but nobody cares about me. And I'm like, if your friend didn't care, he wouldn't have fucking hired me to go looking.
It's just weird being Caleb's spot.
The second thing, and this one's a little bit later,
Yeah.
Parvati and her dealing with Junlei and how that entire thing is going. And I've got that matter settled, because it's just like, it's that really wishy-washy thing. of like,
Mhm.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. And I'm like, just fucking go talk to them. Turns out that's a whole side quest to get to that point. And she's like, thanks, you remind me of my dad. And I'm like, good enough. All right, just fucking go do the damn thing. Christ alive.
Yeah. But that's what you've been up to this week.
Yes.
I've been playing Baldur's Gate leading up to Baldur's Gate 3. I'm finally on Baldur's Gate 2. I've got 5 days of streaming left to beat Baldur's Gate 2 before Baldur's Gate 3 comes out.
Hopefully
Can you
things
do it? Can you
That
accomplish?
is the question. Can I beat a 40-plus hour game in 5 days?
You got this.
Including
Theoretical.
including the expansion.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible, especially if I just ignore all the side quests.
Yeah, if you speed run it.
Yeah, if I speedrun it. Because I know what I have to do to beat the game. There's actually a whole place you can skip. Like, there's a part of the game you can literally just skip. Because you can get on a boat that takes you to this place, but you can choose not to take that boat. You can choose to just teleport to the next place that you're supposed to be. So you can skip an entire storyline.
Well, that's cool.
All right.
But yeah,
But there's not like any important side quest or anything in that.
no, it's basically you go to the Sagwian settlement, and they basically are having a civil war, and they're like, hey, there's a prophecy that you're supposed to help us with, and that's it. Nothing relevant to being a ball spawn.
I'm not involved in your prophecy. You go enjoy your prophecy on your own.
Yeah.
Hear me out. What if I didn't?
Yeah. Hear me out. What if I don't even know you exist because I skipped your section of the game?
Whoops.
Those poor guys.
But let's talk Star Wars.
Yes.
Because I want to talk video games too now.
Yeah. Talk video games. Yeah.
I don't play a lot. I should, but I don't.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the last big thing you were playing was Red.
oh yeah, I'm still obsessed with it. Like I when November gets in, I'm playing like I'm gonna beat it again. I'm gonna start November. The weather's cooler. I'm
Yeah.
gonna feel like a cowboy out in the old west. And
Dealing with the longest first chapter of any game ever.
the tutorial sucks. I wish you could just skip it because I'm like, I know how to play it. I just want to start when we do cowboy
Yeah,
things.
like, get me out of the winter.
Get me out of the mountain.
winter.
I don't want to hunt for deer.
Okay, so 2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, he's tried 1. It's not a fit for him.
The horse doesn't pay attention to me.
Yeah.
I can't drive the horse.
Once again, that's another thing
Course.
Harith and I were talking about last night. We were talking about Red Dead, and we talked about how it's still, like, because we've talked about it,
Yeah.
that it's disappointing that they don't just put Red Dead 1 into Red Dead 2. Because
But it's there.
It's there.
It's right there.
Because you finish because it's very similar to Red Dead
I'm
1.
pretty sure they got the code. It's probably real easy for them to do it.
Yeah, well, the big issue is, so they have the Rage engine that they build all their video games on.
Right.
And the Rage Engine 3 was GTA 4, and then GTA 5 is Rage Engine 4, but Rage Engine 3.5 is what they made for Red Dead 1.
I don't know. I think the real problem is that Red Dead Online didn't do as well as they thought it was going to do. and so-
That's definitely
and
part
like
of it.
if it did,
Well, I think
trust me, if Red Dead Online did really really well, we'd have had
I think also if the GTA trilogy did well.
that. True.
The guy who's played the original Red Dead Redemption 1 twice from start to finish. Just be nicer to your horse, man.
No. Well, it's not.
love
I'm not
his horse.
I love my horse. Oh, Red Dead 2. I had the
same horse. Yeah.
I said the whole same horse the entire game. I didn't upgrade horses because I bought the Ultimate Edition, so it gives you a special horse. That was my ride or die horse until the end of the game. Like, spoiler: at the end of the game, your horse dies. The Pinkertons kill your horse. I am a grown man,
They
45 years old, and I'm crying over this fictional horse. I just was like, "You motherfucker shot my horse!" Tears coming down my face. It was, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess. I love that
It's
game.
the real life bad guys. They're-
Right, but that was the last real game I really, really played.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to play Final Fantasy VIII. I have it.
I love 8.
I love eight's one of
Eight's
my
my
favorite.
favorite.
Eight's one. I like 6. I think 6 is
6
my
is 6 is
4, 6,
is-
and 8 are like my 3.
6
so-
is great.
yeah.
6 is the one time where the villain actually succeeds in their plan.
Right. It's fun. It's fun. I
I'm
like
unfamiliar with.
So 6 is the one with the clown villain Kefka,
Kafka,
and his whole goal is to become a god.
and he does.
And he does. He becomes a god. You fight him as a god at
Right.
the end.
But-
Whereas Sephiroth is like obviously 7 is the fan favorite.
Sure, 7's fine. It's no 8.
I
though.
think 6 as a villain is better
so.
because I like Sephiroth, but Sephiroth is a mama's boy who like has mommy issues.
Sure.
That's his whole thing.
Like Japan, it just makes sense. I heard a really good analogy for 8. 8 is the game that they set to make 7. Like 7 is a great, but 7 is they were trying new technology for the first time, so we get 7.
Yeah.
8 is what they really wanted to make because they had to lay the groundwork.
Yeah. 7, because I think I actually like the junctioning system.
My favorite thing is draw magic.
Where you can fucking trap an enemy in a car.
Oh yeah, and you can trap enemies in cards. Yeah.
That's
all part.
The card game's fun. The card game's the best part of it.
This is not a joke. That is a plot point in Yu-Gi-Oh! That is a thing that happens.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Because in Final Fantasy VIII, like I was telling him last
fucking
time we played, I talked
VCR
about
tape.
it. You can, because for the card game to
I
get
thought
more
he was
cards.
lying to me.
Yeah, to get more cards, you can trap enemies when they're weakened,
Right.
and turn them into a
card.
I thought you were lying to
Nope.
me.
Nope. You can be
then
all
you can-
card captor secure on this.
Yep. Yep.
Pokemon yourself into it.
It's fun to do that to the T-Rex that's in the school.
Right. My favorite thing to do T-Rex is cast zombie and then life.
T-Rex. Okay.
Because T-Rex
So
suck.
there's a certain part of the school where it's just a training ground,
Yeah.
and if you just continue to loop it, it will just continue to loop those fights, and it's a great way to
Level up.
level up. Which you don't want to level up too much in that game. It's the junctioning that you want to get your magic up.
Right.
Because 8 introduced. So my first time playing 8, I sucked at it. I made it all the way to Pandemonium, managed to get to the fight with Cypher, kept dying, and could not solve why I wasn't winning. It's because I did the thing that you do when you don't know how a RPG works, is just leveling up as much as you can. Final Fantasy VIII, they level up with you.
Yeah, they do. And it's fun.
And that's where the junctioning is important, because your magic and your junctioning. So when you have magic, you get different spells, and you draw the spells from your enemies based on what spells make sense to them. So like a flame enemy, you're gonna get fireball type Fire-Aga from them.
So, like I said, I was going to play Final Fantasy 8, but I'm like, I don't feel like diving into a long story.
It is a long game.
But it's fun. It's fun. I'm just like, my time's limited. I just want something to play. So I can't remember what the game is called, but I downloaded this anime fighting game that has a bunch of different properties. And one of the reasons why I got it, because it has Ruby on it. And I'm a huge Ruby fan. So I was like, oh, good, Ruby fighting game. First of all, it's fun. No lie. It is fun. However, when I first played it, I went through... Instead of just going to find a battle mode so I could just fight, because that's all I really want to do. I'm old. I just don't want to go through... I don't need to
Blaze Blue.
Yeah, that's what And so...
Blaze Blue.
And so...
Tag battle.
Yeah, I love it. And however, the thing I don't like about it is the campaign mode.
Oh yeah.
Because
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't care about it. It's not making sense. They speak in one lines.
Does Blaze Blue.
Yeah, they only speak in one lines, and they speak in a lot of them. I just want to fight, and all I'm doing is hitting the A button to get through the dialogue. There's not like a skip this thing and just fight. I just want to fight.
Yeah.
And so. And like the menu doesn't have like hey, let's just leave the campaign, you can start again. No, it doesn't have that. You just got to reset it, get out of there, and then get in the campaign.
Yeah.
Blaze Blue, I have one of their games. I think it's Continuum Shift.
I don't know
As a
which one.
guy
it is.
who has gone through the Blaze Blue storyline from like start to finish,
I didn't even know there's. Like I said, I'm not reading the storyline.
Yeah.
I want Ruby Rose, Crescent Rose, and just to beat up things. That's all I want. And
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun for that. I get a
Have you watched the Justice League crossover?
I have
yet?
not. I own it, and I haven't watched it. I just finished finally season 9 on Thursday.
I've started for DC stuff because I like their animated films.
Yeah.
I've started Doom that came to Gotham. I haven't finished it yet because it's
Right.
on Max right now. It's pretty good so far. Lovecraft stuff. It's Batman in a Lovecraft universe.
I'm hoping. I mean, I bought Ruby Justice League Part 1 because, of course, I did.
Yeah.
So I've got it on Prime, and I share. I as other people from our podcast know, I often watch things with my friend in Staten Island, Kisa.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have Prime, and and while I love her and care for her and trust her, I still get weirded out by giving like my Prime account or my Apple account to people.
Yeah.
Like other ones I get.
Yeah.
But, like not when you start can buy
That
stuff.
one, yeah, that one's different because you can buy like actual stuff.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to have a conversation where I don't want to have. So I
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
You don't want
So
to be
I'm
like,
hoping
hey,
it
why'd
comes
you
to-
buy stuff on my account?
I'm hoping it's coming to Max soon so we can watch it together.
It'll come to Max at some point.
Yeah,
Because how recent was it? It's still not been a month yet, has
About
it?
6 weeks probably.
Yeah.
I've had it, like I said, and it was funny because we finished season 9 together. We watched it together, and then she got real excited because they had a commercial trailer for it at the end of season 9, and she went, Justice League RWBY. I was like, yeah, this has been out, and she's like, she didn't know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
she got real excited.
It'll be on Max because they're. I'm surprised. I'm surprised
Who
they
knows
haven't.
what's on Max? Max is all messed up right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I was gonna say I'm surprised they haven't shifted the RWBY stuff to Max, but it makes sense because Zaslav doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, it's on. They just made that deal with Crunchyroll, and so
Yeah,
which I'm happy that it's on. Like all of RWBY's on Crunchyroll. And have you
Yeah.
ever watched RWBY?
Yeah,
I-
I'm up to date on it.
It's
yeah.
my
I'm
jam.
a couple
has
seasons.
been a
I'm a couple
journey.
seasons. I'm a couple seasons back.
It has been a wild ride.
Well, if you don't have Crunchyroll, if you want to borrow mine, you can finish it. I don't mind doing
No,
that.
Yeah. Oh, he was talking
Good.
to me because I'm a
Oh.
couple seasons back.
oh yeah.
Get
Get caught up, and I'll have some words with you about it.
Yeah. I mean, because I have the first 5 on Blu-ray. First of all,
How far back are you though?
I think I've made it up to 7.
Oh, so you're
I've
8, 9.
8, 9. Yeah.
Shit that goes down to Atlas and into. How'd you like 9?
It's all right.
I loved it.
Like, I don't hate it. I understand it. I'm like, damn.
I loved 9. I didn't love it as I watched it, if
There's-
that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like once you got the full picture.
Yeah, when it ended, I was like, oh, this is it's so because
It's a good one because it's like maybe we should address some of the personal issues that come from this.
there's that, but and mild spoiler for you. I don't want to spoil the whole thing
Yeah,
for you,
yeah.
but the mild spoiler is that 9 is basically this remnant version of Alice in Wonderland
Okay.
that the team has been sent to. So it's taking it from a weird, fantastic battle school, save the world kind of thing, and they do this weird offshoot, and you're like, what the hell are we doing? What the point in this? And like for 5 episodes, I'm like, I liked it because I like seeing the new world, but I'm like, I still don't know why we're here and why they picked to choose this.
But by
story.
the end of it, it makes sense.
Oh, by the end of it, I'm like, oh, I get it. I can't wait to 10. I just like,
Yeah, because like
I hope we don't have to wait as long.
I'm surprised they don't do more. Yeah, I think Rooster Teeth though is getting complicated. Like because their leadership is complicated and their
Well, I think
because they had that drama a few years back, and I think that slowed down a lot of stuff.
that's true, and plus the pandemic. The main reason we took 9 so long to get was the pandemic. Here's the thing though. What I see as a good sign at the moment is that Warner Brothers is really trying, because they own Rooster Teeth, are really trying to cross over RWBY into mainstream thing.
Yeah.
For some reason, they thought the idea was to do it through the Justice League, a cartoon. I'm not sure if that was smart, but
We'll see.
We'll see.
I've heard mixed things.
See, I've not seen it,
I'll
and
say this.
Have
good
you
or
seen it?
bad, It is a unique call to make.
Sure.
Yeah.
And look, I like the RWBY looking Justice League. I like
Yeah.
that aspect or whatever. But it's weird to me because it's a regression in the story because it takes place before season 3, right? Like
think
the
so?
Yeah.
because it's before the fall of
Still at Beacon.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's before the fall of Beacon. So and not that
2-year time.
right, and look, and I'm not saying it has to be in continuity or anything, because it may be like a Star Wars Legends situation, which is fine by me. But it's like we're so far past Beacon, why go back and tell a story with Beacon? That's the only thing I have a hiccup about.
Yeah.
And it's a minor hiccup because
But if the story's good, then
Right.
hey,
I want Warner Brothers to remaster the first 3 seasons.
yeah, it's very interesting how the Rooster Teeth has progressed and what they finally figured out is going to be mainstream versus what's not.
Right.
Because RWBY was not meant to be the mainstream thing for them. It was supposed to be Genlock.
Right. And
Genlock was supposed to be this is our mainstream thing, like, because they were getting actual actors involved. Like
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, Maisie Williams, Dakota Fanning.
Right.
It's a shame that no one cares about Genlock.
Because it's not good. I didn't like it. Did y'all watch it? Did you
I
like
thought
it?
the first season was fine.
Yeah,
but
I didn't
no,
watch
no.
it because I was like, this looks like some other weird stuff.
Right.
It's already
My
did
problem with Genlock is that is exactly what you said. It's fine, and Rooster Teeth shouldn't be doing just fine. They
I would say, I would even say for Red versus Blue after season 13,
yeah,
they just went fine.
yeah, because they don't have to. They've earned the right to be fine, but you still got like the first 5 seasons of Red versus Blue are fantastic.
And I'd argue all the way through the freelancer story.
Sure, there's something special about those.
Yeah, the first 5 are special.
Because I mean, and you probably were there too. You were younger, but I was there when it started.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pre-YouTube.
I mean, I started a little late. I started watching when season 6 was airing.
So
No,
season 1 aired when
it was 2003.
we were at Ground Zero, the other game store that's down the street. That's no
Yeah.
longer there. That's now a funeral home. And we had just put the arcade in the back because for some reason game stores in Mobile need to get arcades. But we did console gaming too, and so the guy who owned it, Tom, and bought a bunch of Xboxes because so you can just link them together as a LAN.
Yeah,
party.
you do your LAN parties. Yeah.
And so they did LAN like Halo 2 was big, and so of course Red versus Blue gets introduced. That I'm like,
Yeah.
I was already into about third episode come out because all those kids were. I never played Halo.
Yeah,
I've
I've got the first 10 seasons on Blu-ray.
Has Caleb told you about
I think I
the,
stopped at 10.
7-season thing I have?
Oh yeah, you think that most shows shouldn't go past season 7, which is probably a good call for a lot of shows.
It depends on how many episodes each season.
That is true. That's also a key
Like,
factor.
I'm expecting I'd say 12 episodes per season. What does that work out to?
That's
12 times 7.
84.
84. Yeah, 84.
Okay.
Math is not my strong suit.
It is 84. You are correct.
I think at
I had to
around
move
the
the one.
80 mark, maybe you should hurry up and start.
Yeah, around the 80. I'd say no more than 100 episodes.
Because,
So, okay,
Red
it's
vs.
just
Blue has
that
gone
a
way
lot-
past that, by the way.
it's
Red
just
vs.
that I
Blue.
think a lot of
but RVB,
But also, they were shorts.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. RVB and
Yeah.
Ruby,
which is why I don't mind.
yeah, Ruby's like average length is like 15 minutes.
I mean, because for the home video releases, they make it to where you just watch a movie essentially of the.
Right,
If your episodes are an hour long, right,
right.
Yeah.
and you need more than 7 seasons, you are pushing my personal patience. Because I'm like, I need things to happen.
I need
and they have to
resolution.
make
See,
sense.
I didn't know you both were into Ruby, so I mean, I knew you'd watched it. I didn't know you were into it. That you and I just became closer friends. I don't have like Ruby, like Stephanie. Like I introduced Ruby to Stephanie. She watches it.
Yeah.
We went to.
But you don't have like any hardcore.
Like I don't have any
people.
hardcore. Like I had to turn Keith into hardcore. She's a hardcore. I turned her into that. But I'm so hardcore that Steph and I went to the Iberville to the theater when season 7 premiered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 7 premiered.
Yeah, it was 7.
And so we saw that, and like I wish they would do that again. I'd be like throw one of those movies up. I'd go. I mean, give me a Fathom event and watch that.
Yeah.
So what I'm really getting into. So who's your favorite character?
From the main cast or just from anywhere?
Anywhere.
I really like Mercury Black.
Mercury's cool.
I wish he was more utilized though,
Right.
because it's like after season 3, they're like, we don't really need him anymore.
That's
And I'm
true.
like, we're not going to explore what it means to not have a semblance in a world full of people that have semblance.
See, I thought we were gonna get that a little bit with John, but then they end up doing whatever they did with John.
Yeah.
His is like a passive buff to just
Right.
everybody.
Right. And I love John.
Yeah, I like John, yeah.
I don't mind John.
So Mercury, who's your favorite?
I like Professor Oobleck.
Oobleck's great. I like Oobleck. I'm down with Oobleck.
Oobleck, yeah.
That man is too caffeinated.
Well,
but
it's
he's
also
alright.
it's also Joel Heyman. So like
absolutely.
Joel is always.
So I have two. I have two that I love equally. Nora is like,
Okay.
I love Nora, and I'm so happy for Renora.
Renora is
Renora makes me happy. The other one that happened that I won't spoil because he's not seen it yet also made me happy. And so
Bumblebee confirmed.
I won't say anything, but I'm probably saying things by saying not saying.
Bumblebee's confirmed. Bumblebee is confirmed.
Dude, just watch that on YouTube. Watch that clip on YouTube. Oh, Bumblebee is so confirmed.
I mean, I think Bumblebee was confirmed the moment they killed Adam.
I wanted them to kiss after they killed Adam. I was like, kiss her. Yeah, you just grab one and kiss her. Kiss her.
Like Adam was the worst.
Oh, no, but he was a good villain.
Yeah, he was a great villain. He got exactly what he
You cut
deserved.
my girlfriend's arm off. Let's fight. I'm into it. I'm like,
He got what he deserved.
Yang needed
But-
that
but-
run back.
but I will say, without spoiling it,
Yeah.
how they confirmed Bumblebee was amazing.
Okay.
And so it's great. And then there's aftermath to that, which is even better. And so and it's not like consequences, but it's like, season 9 is so dope.
I also like.
Alright, so
I also like.
Nora-
No, I love Nora, and Neapolitan.
Neapolitan. Oh,
I love Neo.
because we talked about it because you've read her book.
Have you read her book?
I have not.
Dude.
I am so
I don't.
Like, there's a thing about like Neo hating Ruby so much.
Well, she killed Torchwood.
No,
Yeah.
she didn't.
Torchwick, sorry.
Torchwick killed Torchwick.
Yeah, but she doesn't believe that.
She's never mind.
That's fair, yeah. Like, but
Look, I was
Torchwick,
going to say,
Torchwick's idiocy killed Torchwick.
Absolutely.
you killed yourself.
he
Idiot.
did, but she doesn't believe that.
No, no.
She's. What I like about the book.
Admittedly, I thought for the longest time it's because she didn't know how Torchwick died. Does she? I'm a little bit confused. Does she still not know?
I don't think she does. I have to go back and see
Because
season
if
2.
she does, she's just being a real bitch about it.
Because yeah, of course she is.
Ruby.
So
Ruby just never tells her. By the way, never mind. I was
Yeah.
but so the book, which I can't think of the title. You can probably look it up, but
Yeah.
I do recommend it. But so it is Torchwood's Torchwick and her origin story, and it focuses mainly around her. I got the audiobook and loved it, but the you find out that she's always been mute. Her real name is Trivia, and she comes from a rich family.
Roman Holiday.
Roman Holiday. And so she comes from a rich family that her family were like, they try to do the best for her, but they're all still ashamed of her because there's no reason why she can't. There's not a medical reason. They can't figure out a psychological reason. She just doesn't talk. And there's a lot of inner monologue with her, like she doesn't know why she can't talk. But her semblance is actually Neo. And as the story goes on, she just ends up becoming her semblance. And so what Neo actually is a semblance without a body because she's transformed into it. That's why she can do all the fantastical stuff and not get touched and stuff. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Turns out her name is Trivia Vanille.
Yeah, Vanille.
So she's vanilla of the Neapolitan.
Absolutely, she's the vanilla, and man,
'Cause when she is Neo, there is no vanilla. It's
Right.
just the strawberry and the chocolate
Right.
with her hair.
it is like, and then Roman's story is really good too. I'm not Torchwick guy.
I don't hate
I
Torchwick,
like-
but I'm also like, you're not a threat.
Yeah,
Right,
he's your low level villain that you.
Right, he's like, I mean, he's not, to me, he was not nearly as a threat as Adam was. He's definitely no Salem.
Yeah.
And
No, well, Adam is a threat because he's
was.
he's
Right.
he's
Right.
he's a supremacist.
Right. and like also, and then I love her. I like out of the core, I love Ruby the most, but I love them all as like, and
Yeah.
I love Penny. Like Penny's fucking great. There's some cool stuff what they do with Penny in season 8
Okay.
that you will enjoy.
Okay.
And so I'm like, and I just
Yeah.
want to know I just want season 10. I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, for the longest time, like a lot of the frustrations of Volume 8, and I thought about it, and I'm like, remember, Seth, all of this happens within the space of like 2 days.
Yeah.
So that's why I like give Volume 8 kind of a little bit of a narrative pass because I'm like,
I
a
like
lot
the-
of shit happened real quick.
I like 8. I don't think there's a bad season.
No.
And I'm in the minority because
Yeah,
man,
because I think 7 and 8 is where people
Man,
turned on the show, right?
I tell you about the internet, man. Ruby fans hate themselves. Man, Ruby fans will bag on their own show, which is weird to me. They're
Yeah.
like,
So I know originally when Monty died, that was when people stopped having faith in the show for a bit.
Right.
Because they were like, "Oh, Monty's gone, so the show's gonna go."
Yeah, but the
it's
other
like
people-
you forget that Miles and
Miles
Carrie also created the show.
Are right there, so it's like,
Like, so,
Monty was in charge of fight.
like his job
He
was the
didn't give-
fights and animation. Like Miles and Carrie were the big story guys.
I did not watch the fairy tale thing.
They're interesting. They're not necessarily important.
That's why I skipped it. I need to go back and watch it, and
but
I think
they're
I'm
very interesting, like to see the fairy tales that are in this world,
right
that are based on
because I liked
fairy tales.
I
from our
liked
world.
I liked the fairy tale stuff they did when we were talking about the origin of Salem and the thing with the four maidens, and I loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought I would like it. I watched the first one, and it's like, it didn't think it was one of those things that didn't grab me right then. I was like, I will catch this later, and I haven't done it.
Yeah.
I still got to finish Chibi's.
Chibi is like,
Chibi's just your.
I love
fun little-
Chibi's great, and I introduced Keisha hadn't seen it either, and so I sent her a TikTok because I'm following Ruby TikTok because I'm a dork, and there's a lot of Chibi on Ruby.
Well, yeah, because Chibi fits the
Yeah,
TikTok.
you can make you can make it. And so there was the one where Ruby's playing The Floor is Lava, and everyone's and Torchwick burns. And I sent that to her, and she'd never. I didn't realize she didn't see it, so that's our next thing. We'll go. Chiba.
One more question, and then we'll watch the Ahsoka
Yeah.
trailer. Favorite volume from whichever ones y'all have seen so far?
I think they just keep getting better and better. So, like, for me, 7 would have to be my favorite because, like, as it's gone on, it's just building up better and better.
That's a really, really good question, Seth. I
Ask a lot of them. One of them's got a
3 is definitely, though, where they found their footing. 3 is where they found their footing and knew where they were, like...
There's a lot of impact in that show, for me personally.
Mhm.
It's kind of the stuff that I like as a writer and as a comic guy, it's the stuff I gravitate to. And so I fell for it hard. And so, God, that's like picking my favorite child.
Pick one. The other has to go.
Okay, so to be fair, with that using that,
To be fair.
to be fair, to use that analogy, if I was stuck on a desert island and I had the ability to watch one season of Ruby,
Yeah.
and that's it, what would I watch? Season 3 easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a really complete story. The Vital Festival's interesting. It ends on a hellacious story. It's great. So yeah, 3 to me is the most complete, even though it isn't just another good chapter of the story.
Yeah.
But it seems the whole there's not a lot of setup. It's like 1, 2, 3 lead, 1 and 2 lead into 3. 3 starts on next whatever. So yeah, oh man, that's tough.
Like I said, 3 is where they found their footing
Right.
for the show.
So,
And-
So
like-
3 for you. And
3 is where
7
they,
for you?
yeah, 3 is where they found their footing. But like, if I was like, but I think it just keeps getting better every season. So 7.
Favorite episode
It's been a minute since I've sat down and watched.
or favorite scene or whatever.
So for me, favorite volume to answer my own question
Sure.
is 4.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, 4's good.
Favorite episode is the. I don't remember the name of it. I remember what happens. in it.
sure. I don't remember the names of any of them.
It is from 3, and it's the frame up. That sets up for the fall of Beacon.
Right when you find everything starting to come together.
Yeah.
God, Cinder's so good.
It's where Emerald uses her semblance on Yang.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I like the episode.
The most unsportsmanlike
Oh.
I've ever seen. And it's like, wait, no, that's not what happened.
And he's got robot legs. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Ah!
I like.
You tricked us. You tricked us all.
I like the. So for me, it's not a specific episode. It's
Sure.
like an arc.
Sure,
Like,
absolutely.
I like the going to Blake's home stuff
Oh
and
yeah,
seeing
that's good.
her family and
You'll learn about the white
leading
thing.
into the atoms of it all.
Sure.
Getting
I think mine is.
Menagerie.
menagerie.
I
Search the brain for.
is it Juniper when they go to Rin's village
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
fight
yeah.
the centaur monster thing?
yeah.
And it ends with Ren and Nora stuck to the wall, and he looks up and she's like, "Stop! Quit looking!" Because it's this moment of this intense combat. Plus, you get the flashback about how Ren and Nora met.
The Nukalavi.
Yeah, when they
Things are scary.
right it was like a lot of the Grimm were like, "Oh, this was a frightening looking
This
monster.
one's
It's a
like
great design."
Big dog or a bear.
Right. This
Yeah.
is
What the fuck
what
is
kind of
that?
demon scimitar thing is this?
I also like the first time they faced Tyrion in season 4.
Yeah.
Tyrion's dope. Tyrion's
Like-
dope. All right, Ahsoka. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I derailed the show farther than I just want to talk Ahsoka, and then you
Yeah.
you were like, "Oh, Ruby's my favorite." Like top 10 favorite things. It's like real close to karaoke.
All right, let's talk. Let's watch the trailer first.
Yeah. All right.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Balin's gonna be so interesting.
I hate that he's dead,
Damn.
but the
Shit, I believe you. We said the thing.
Such as you never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war.
that's my girl. She looks so good.
And there's Kaz's dad.
Yep.
He's still just as stubborn as ever. never made things easy for me. Master.
Yeah, I'm.
As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. And I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings. Buckle up. If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain. I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Two-episode premiere.
That's the day before my birthday. Thank you, Lucasfilm, for my birthday.
Balin is the thing I'm most excited about. And yeah, as you said, it's unfortunate that
Kid,
Yeah,
rest in peace.
breaks
man.
my heart.
Breaks my heart too. He's a good actor.
I think we'll depending on how well his character's received, we'll still get stuff about him afterwards. We're gonna get some books or comics probably.
Well, if the Producers Guild will guess what they want, he'll just scam and use them forever.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah,
That's
they
what they want
want
to do.
AI people. Yep.
That's what they want. That's what we're striking.
Going
They're
into
striking.
the actor strikes stuff. Yeah,
Ah.
because the actors are officially now on strike.
Oh, great.
So
But one of the
That's
things,
gonna make a lot of people happy.
literally one of the things in the sticking point. I hate to derail it from the trailer,
no,
but
go
this is
this
important.
is, yeah, this is
This is
important.
important. One of the things, literally, that the studios said were like, so like background extras and stuff, we just want to scan them, and then we can use them anytime we want to. We're just going to pay you for the scan though, and not every time we use you.
Yeah, not paying for the likeness use, just for the
We're
one
just going to scan you and we'll pay you, but we're going to use you forever.
Which that goes into see, and the thing is, the precedent of that doesn't work because we have precedent of them trying to pull stuff like that off because they tried to do it with Back to the Future Part 2.
Sure,
They tried to use his likeness for Marty's dad,
right. And Crispin Glover sued. and
Crispin
won.
Glover,
Yeah,
and
Crispin
it
Glover.
did not go well.
And he won, but
Yeah.
they're trying to get it worked in. We're like, oh yeah, we can just scan you and we'll use you whatever and not pay you. I don't care they scam me. You pay me every time I'm on the screen. Though.
Yeah,
gotta
like
pay
you
me.
can scam me, just use me.
gotta
Pay me every time.
Got to pay me. Anyway, sorry, it's
It's
trailer.
it's the same thing. Like, yeah, I mean, it's important to talk about because
No, this is one I get.
yeah, this is
I listened to another podcast and they were like, "Yeah, we use the faces of like a bunch of
and the
dead actors in our movie," and they're like, "Oh."
and I think it's fine when I think
No, it's even worse. It's live living people.
yeah, I think it's fine to get the. I think in that situation, it's all about getting permissions from family
Sure.
estates and paying everybody off
Yeah.
correctly. That's the
Sure,
respect
what
part
is
of it.
right.
But living people, it's like pay us every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the producer, the AMPTP are not helping themselves because every time you hear a quote from them, it's always like the most evil thing ever.
So
Like the writers one, they said like we're gonna hold off until like they are starving.
so I'm
And
trying to
they said that.
I'm trying to get with Drew and you so we can get time to do it, but I'm gonna do it Tuesdays with Scott because Drew knows more about it than I
You
do.
want to do it Tuesdays about
about
the
both
strikes.
strikes and like what it can mean because it's I mean I know I got my friend Frankie, she's in the Writers Guild, she's
Yeah.
striking. I don't know anyone in this SGA personally,
Yeah.
but he does, and so it's
Yeah, I'm curious because there's a lot of misinformation right now regarding like what is scabbing and what's not, and I would love to get an actual like, hey, this is what's considered scabbing because Under the Desk News on TikTok said that if you go to a event as a content creator, you're scabbing it. It's like
No. So if you go to an event as a content creator to promote, let's use Barbie for example.
yeah,
And
say I'm invited to the red carpet.
red carpet to promote Barbie.
and since actors are not
You
going to
can
be
be
there,
there. That's scabbing.
okay,
But if you're just a guy going to review Barbie for your own content, and because that's what you do, that's not
yeah.
scabbing.
So like if I go watch Mission Impossible this weekend,
right, you're not.
I make my review TikTok.
That's not scabbing. But if Paramount goes, hey Caleb, we like what you do. We're going to send you out. We'll fly you out here to watch, or here's some free tickets to go see it. and then just do your normal thing. That's scabbing because they give you because
Yeah.
they're using you to promote their thing. But if you do it on yourself on your own channel that within your what you normally do, that's not scabbing.
Yeah, okay.
So you're
And I
good
think
there.
that's clarifications that I think need
Yeah.
to be
Absolutely.
made because I think there's a lot of information where it's like that's considered scabbing. That's not going to.
Well, like, what's the channel Dead Meat that does the kill count? They do a lot of promotional stuff for Dove Series. They shouldn't be doing any of the, like starting a couple days ago. I don't know if they're doing
Yeah.
that or not. I'm not saying they're scabbing, but that's just my example because I know a lot of studios send them out to different
Yeah.
do different experiences and to promote
Yeah,
their
I
films.
know one of the big content creators on TikTok, Straw Hat Goofy. He's under fire because he's currently at a promotional thing.
Yeah, but it's okay to be at a promotional thing if you pay for it on your own dime and you did it yourself and you're doing it for your channel. That's different. But if Paramount pays for you to come out to
And
promote,
they're paying for your hotel.
the
and your
hotel,
flight.
all that, they're paying for you. Or if they don't send you out there, they send you free tickets. The thing is that they want you to promote, and so that's the slippery slope. So
Our
the
view is different.
right.
because
So
you
the
can
rule of thumb,
office- yeah,
the rule of thumb is just pay for yourself and put it on your taxes.
yeah.
It's, rule of thumb.
Okay, that's good to know.
And also for the people in my world, that doesn't mean the end of everybody's worried about conventions too because there's not, there.
Is that considered the same level?
No, so here's so to clarify that, yes, everybody got pulled out of San Diego Comic Con and was told it would be in their best interest not to attend. But what they really mean by that is that they don't want you promoting Barbie, Oppenheimer, or whatever Star Trek, whatever's coming up, Star Wars, whatever.
Yeah.
All these people already pulled out because they knew that this was happening.
Yeah,
But they didn't want anyone promoting stuff on behalf of the studios because you're striking against them. You shouldn't be working. That's work. And so
Yeah.
you shouldn't be working for them.
because you're
However,
in the case of like San Diego Comic Con
Right,
versus like
right.
MobaCon.
right, well, but if you're a SAG member and you go to another con for a signing for an autograph signing, that's different. As long as you're not promoting something, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because San Diego Comic Con versus say MobaCon, San
Right.
Diego Comic Con is big on we are promoting the new movies.
yeah,
coming
that's
out.
what it's there for. And
Whereas like MobaCon, it's like these are just actors that
so
have been in.
I hate that I skipped it this year. Because our comic wasn't ready. My dream is to go set up at San Diego Comic Con, but the problem is it's become such a media con. This year it's pretty much like an old school Comic Con. All the comic stuff are still there.
Yeah.
And so they're going to shine.
Yep.
And I just missed my opportunity. I was a year off. It's a year off.
But
Anyway,
Ahsoka.
Mm.
So the internet has started theorizing, and I disagree with this, that of Sabine Force capabilities. No, that it's just Ahsoka's training her to better use her capabilities she already has. I think. I'm wondering about the big gap because there's a gap obviously in the time.
Well, the thing this trailer does to my timeline is that it does not pick up at the coda. So there.
Well, because Dave keeps retconning that.
Yeah, so which is a shame because that's a great whatever. It's his
It's
it's
what
his
Dave
play,
it's
it's
what
his
Dave
playground.
does.
He
He
can,
retcons.
he can play whatever.
Yeah.
But
Dave likes to retcon. It's
Sure,
his thing.
sure, I'm okay with that. I don't know. I take it that she got some force training. We'll find out because it doesn't.
Yeah, because I feel like it'd be weird if like it didn't I feel like the best opportunity to have introduced that would have been during her Darksaber arc.
Well, I thought Dave was actively fighting against it because my problem with the Darksaber arc, the Kanan training her to use the Darksaber, is that he is because she's Mandalorian and she's
You
so.
have to teach her how to use it without
No.
force capabilities.
No, he's teaching, but no, he doesn't because he ends up teaching her because it gets lighter for her because the force helps her use it.
Well, I
That's
think
the
it's
whole
'cause
point of
she,
it.
I think it's because she finds her center without. Yeah.
But here's my point: the way he does it is through anger and sadness
Yeah.
and emotions. All pass to the dark side that she gets better with that saber, which I was like, that's a little weird, Kate. And I think it was a narrative miss.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. Filoni knows more than I do. It's just going back for what I know of Star Wars. That wasn't the only kind of thing to it. And
Yeah.
like modern Star Wars, everyone's force sensitive. It's just can you attune to it?
Well, yeah, and I'm arguing in the case of I don't think she's attuned to it in any way whatsoever. I think she's, I think this is a case of she was just mentoring her to be a leader type of role because we see that Sabine basically becomes the leader of Lothal by Coda. the way that her role is played in Rebels.
Sure. I mean, I guess. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. And then I'm curious what Balin actually wants.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
So the show is not going to be heir to the Empire. That they're saving that type of story for the movie.
Right.
I think Thrawn is not the main villain. Morgan Elsbeth is. Because we see Morgan Elsbeth.
I think Ray, what's his face?
Balin and Morgan Elsbeth are the main.
Yeah, I think
antagonists.
they're the main antagonists. I think there's a shadow play behind the thing. I think it's her because she wants to get Thrawn in the picture.
Yeah, and so the real plot of Ahsoka is the race to Thrawn, so they can get the race to to Ezra.
Right.
So because we don't see Ezra except for in hologram form for the entire trailer, which we are confirmed that it's the first 4 episodes. That's where all the footage is from.
Taupe.
So anything past episode 4 is where we'll probably see Ezra, unless they're hiding him really well in the trailers, which they could be as well.
Sure.
But they're not hiding Thrawn, which means he probably shows up, because I was, once again, stuff I was talking with Harith last night, probably shows up in episode 3, episode 4, around that point of the show.
And we don't know if that's an actual timeline thing or a flashback.
Yep. If it's an actual timeline thing, more than likely, I'm going to bet Morgan Elsbeth and her group find him first.
I wonder if Ezra's with him, though. That's the thing. The thing is, I'm curious, because they left together. They should.
But there's been years now, so they could have split, and who knows?
I'm curious about all that, where the Purgle sent them.
Honestly, I would like Timothy Zahn to explore what happened in between more than I do Dave, but...
He probably will. Dave will do what he does, and Zahn will fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
I have 2 things I want to see this season.
Yeah.
One is Ezra. I want to see like a real Ezra. And I don't care if it's the last episode. I just want to see Ezra.
Yeah.
Because I've been pining for Ezra since he left. I love Ezra.
Yeah.
2, what is the over/under we get Jason Syndulla?
I'd say over because they already there's already been leaks of the Lego version.
Oh, there's a Lego version?
So they changed his hair color though.
That's fine. I don't care.
It's now brown.
Okay, whatever.
So he looks more like his dad.
Maybe he started out green and then he turned into brown.
Yeah, because hair color does change over time.
I mean, and apparently head tails are a regressive gene instead of a dominant gene.
Even though we've seen in Clone Wars.
So maybe it just depends on what. But
yeah, maybe the clone genes weren't as strong as Kanan's.
See if we get Jason, then we get a little Poe Dameron back there too, just hanging out in the background.
Yeah, no, Jason, Poe, and little Ben, best friends.
Right, that'd be great. Be dope.
Jason at the Luke Academy. He leaves before Ben's stuff goes down.
Great.
Jason better not be at the Academy. Well, we know he's not, at least in Rise of Kylo Ren, unless they retcon it. Because Rise of Kylo Ren comic book, we see who's all at the Academy during that time. We also know that technically Ben didn't do it.
I think Seth's asleep. I think we bored him.
Yeah, we bored him.
No, I'm thinking.
You're contemplating about.
Yeah.
What'd you think about it?
I was thinking about like whether or not I actually care about the Ahsoka show.
Sure.
So I think it comes down
the
to the level
of it.
Yeah, so the level of excitement for the Ahsoka show is seeing how the Empire remnants become the First Order.
I don't think it'll be bad.
I think it'd be great.
It's just that I'm like,
You're also not a big Jedi guy either.
yeah. And I swear,
and I
to God,
feel
if
you.
I see another surprise, I'm actually force sensitive, attuned, whatever the fuck. I think I might genuinely lose my mind.
He'll become a Star Trek
I'm
fan.
getting tired of it.
He'll become a Star Trek fan and be like, I'm jumping genres. Go over here.
Doing that.
I'm joining this
but-
franchise. Live long and prosper, bitches. I'm out.
But
I
I'm
get
getting
it
kinda
because
tired where it's like, oh, like it's a thing in a lot of the books that me and him
Yeah.
through in a lot of the other media, where sometimes, like, I understand if a character hides it like willingly, but then there are other times where it's like left up to speculation if this is luck. Or,
Right.
And me and him have had some very heated arguments about whether
we didn't argue about the mother though. I was right from the start about
you're
the
right
mother.
about that one, and I was like, I don't fucking like this bitch. Because she's a liar, a thief, and a trickster.
Well,
I have a thing about con men.
And women.
I
con.
People.
Yeah.
Con people.
I have a thing about con.
I will be honest
In
and honest with your audience
Yeah.
and my audiences who listen who know me. I'm excited as excited for this as I was for the Mandalorian the first time we got season 1
Yeah.
because it was to me it's something new. For Ahsoka though, it is literally the continuation of the story that saved me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because Rebels is Rebels.
Like
Then again,
I was
the show
done
hasn't
with
seen
Star Wars. I was done. I was like, I'm a grown up now. I don't need to watch this stuff. You know, I'd put my toys away, and then I happened to catch Rebels when it aired, and was like, this is just Space Aladdin. I'm not sure. And then I was like, I'll give it another episode. And then I saw, oh look, okay, they did the obligatory. Here's the cameo from the old cast that you like, and it's we'll do the safe thing. We'll do 3PO and R2, which was fine. And then that third damn episode where Ezra and Zeb steal the TIE fighter and try to get the Meilun Ron, and I'm like, oh, I get what they're doing here, and loved it, and just was like, it took 3 episodes, and then I was like, I'm back into Star Wars, and that season by season it gets better, and like. Season 1 to me is like Disney Plus is still kind of watching them, so it's a very kid show. It's very much, and then they realize, oh, by season 2 they're not watching them, and then they do some horrible things to people that you would never do on a kid show, and get away with it.
Well, because even in season 1, yeah, because you get the Grand Inquisitor decap scene,
Yeah, but they don't even show that. I mean, that's
but it's close enough.
and no,
as a kid, you can-
oh yeah, you know what happened, but like you've not watched Rebels, right?
No, he hasn't. We haven't gotten to that yet.
Now I don't know if I'm going to spoil things for you or anything, but they
You might
do.
as well. 'Cause I don't think
He'll forget by the time we get to
Okay,
it.
so at the end of season 2, Darth Maul kills a bunch of people and blinds Kanan, and like all in like a span of like 3 minutes.
Yeah, because he kills two
Two-
Inquisitors
Two
back to
Inquisitors
back.
back to back, just dead. Because Ezra won't do it. He's like, Ezra, go ahead, kill. I got this one. You kill that one. He's like, I'm a good guy, and then but he blinds
Yeah.
Kanan,
He's like, hey, Ezra, kill your master's real life wife.
who's literally a main character.
Yeah.
And it's not one of those, oh, we blind him, we'll fix him next season. No, he is blind for the rest of the show. And it's like,
In season 3, he doesn't become active as a member until near the end of season 3 because
Right.
he's depressed.
right, he's dealing with all this bullshit.
He is.
And-
Kanan goes through it.
Yeah, and oh man, I love Kanan.
And then like I've been appearing on friend of the podcast Podwans. I've been
Hey,
on
Podwans.
I've been on their podcast a good bit lately and they're doing their Rebels stuff, and they're currently on season 4. So we've been talking season 4.
Oh, you got to get me hooked up on one of those episodes. I tell Rebels all day.
Unfortunately, they're booked.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
And I know that I know they're not going to do Resistance next. Even though they should, because Resistance is fun.
Resistance doesn't know what it wants to be. It has some really interesting characters.
Yeah.
And it doesn't know if it wants to be an independent race car show, a Star Wars show with politics, or a show about life on an island,
Or a spy show.
or a spy show. It doesn't, but it has all these elements, but it doesn't, and none of them are cohesive enough to make it Star Wars. There's some stuff in it that I absolutely love, but overall it's a mess. And I think by only having 2 seasons, they admit that it was not probably the best product they could put out.
Yeah. And I think they could have probably gotten one more season out if they tried, but they
Right, but you
But they
know.
also ran into the issue of they caught up with the movies, and so they couldn't do season 3 without spoiling the movies.
Right.
I think Resistance, they should have waited till the trilogy was done and then done Resistance.
Right.
But I've been on their show lately, and at the end of it, we do a give us where you place it on like how your rankings of the episodes, and the way they do it is like Grand Admiral's the best,
Sure.
and then the Admiral is like the next best, and then all the way down to like Captain and Lieutenant and all that, right?
I think
And so like season 4, we all mostly agree that every episode is at least a Admiral or higher.
Yeah, it's not a bad episode of season 4.
And then because season 4 is like here's the thing about Rebels, they are consistently good or better, and then I'd say that for the entire show.
Absolutely, I agree.
It is a consistency thing where it's at least good or better. Now some are going to be Grand Admiral, some are going to be just Admiral, but at the very least you will
Sure.
get a captain. I think at the very least you will always have a good episode.
and like its second
Whereas-
half.
yeah.
Its second half of the season is some of the strongest writing in Star Wars entirety.
Yeah.
Those last like 5 episodes are like
The
5 or
Jedi
6.
Knight, starting with the Jedi Knight arc onward.
Yeah, it's just like, what are they doing? And it's amazing. It's just like,
Without spoiling
well,
for
it's,
Seth.
but it's amazing.
And you might as
Yeah. Well, no.
not doing-
It's just there's a strong character death, and from that point onward, it is a strong story.
Right. And they
Look, there's only so many people that can die.
I also think the Ahsoka trailer kind of confirms who's dead or not for you.
Well, let's see. Kanan's not around. Let's see. Urza is still
Ezra's
missing.
missing. Yeah,
Ezra's
Ezra's
missing.
missing.
God damn it. Not again.
Ezra, Ezra.
Urza. Fuck.
Urza's from Magic.
Ursa.
Yeah, Ursa. No, that's Ruby.
No, that's a bear.
It is a bear.
It is a bear.
Oh, God.
Ursa. Sorry, I was
Where?
thinking of that from Ruby though. The Ursa.
Where?
But the best thing about the
Well, Hera's not dead, obviously.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be watching Star Wars. Hera is literally my favorite character in Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's like
Kanan
Hera
is the only one
Lando.
that died.
Yeah, it's Kanan.
I know Kanan dies.
So since you spoil yourself, the best thing that they did of that no one does, and almost any media, they do the thing, they end his life, and the very next episode they do an episode that allows their entire fan base to mourn.
Yeah, because the entire episode is the grief episode.
It's a grief episode, and we have the only problem I had with the whole thing is that and I was watching them live when they were happening. Disney Plus, not Disney Plus, but Disney XD when they
yeah,
were
Disney
running
XD. Yeah,
at that season because they were trying to flush them out and get rid of them. They're running 2 episodes a week, and I would rather had a week to deal with the fact that I've lost Kanan and then get the grief episode
what?
because they aired them back to back.
Oh yeah, trying to remember.
Yeah, they aired them back to back, and
Wow.
I knew it was coming. It's telegraphed. I'm like, they're going to do this, and I'm like already like
Yeah, the whole
10 minutes into it, I'm welling up.
the whole episode leading up to Kanan's death, you can tell it's coming.
And it's so good. But it's like, even though it's tail, you tell. It's so good. It's so good.
And then like they make his death have impact on
Absolutely.
because that doesn't always happen in Star Wars. A character dies and
Yeah.
maybe they have an impact on the overall story, but Kanan's death meant something
So-
because spoilers, I guess, since we're talking about it. So Thrawn's whole goal is to create a TIE Defender project, which is to create a better TIE fighter.
Yeah.
So Thrawn is gone right now. He's off doing stuff that's
He got-
in the books.
Yeah, he got summoned to Coruscant.
Yeah, so he's off doing stuff in the books.
Okay.
When he's
And-
hanging out with Vader, is that when he gets summoned to hang out with Vader?
And so
Is
because
that Thrawn, the second Thrawn book, right?
yeah, that's
is it-
so
is
it's the later half of the second Thrawn book and the early half of the third book because treason
I
is the
haven't
third book.
I had
Yeah.
done treason, and I couldn't get through the second one because I just didn't like the Clone Wars stuff in it.
So treason is when like a lot of the stuff that's in between.
I need to
Leading
get
up to
treason. Next time I
Jedi
get
Knight is
Audible,
happening.
I'll pick up treason.
So he leaves the governor in charge while he's gone.
Mhm.
And so they have a factory where all the fuel is.
Yeah.
That's where they took Hera when they captured her. And so Kanan and them go off to save Hera because Ezra comes up with a plan. Because Ezra's growing up and obviously starting to become a leader.
Mhm.
And Kanan's like, all right, I'll join you. And he shaves his hair because throughout the season he's been going full Ronin, blind Ronin.
Yeah,
So he shaves his hair and gets goes back to almost looking like season 1 Kanan, except blind.
Yeah.
They save Hera, and they end up being chased by the Empire all the way to the fuel stuff. They're on top of one of the fuel things, and Kanan forces everybody to
Yep.
leave. Meanwhile, the governor shoots at the fuels to take out one Jedi.
Yeah.
Imagine how that goes when Thrawn comes back.
I'm
Well,
sure he is fucking delighted
well,
to hear
the
that.
problem is that it kills the TIE Defender program, which
Which is competing with the Death Star
so which
project.
all the funds from that gets allocated to make the Death Star. It's subtle, but it's all important to the. It's I love Van Filoni's great.
Because
I think Carrie Beck wrote that
I
one.
mean,
actually.
even the comics kind of started dealing with the idea that Tarkin is in charge of all these operations still. So
Yeah.
either way, Tarkin wins.
Yeah.
But he's making everybody compete with each other for which projects are going to be the fully funded.
Sure, right? Yeah, he's going to be the guy in charge. I would have loved to seen I'm glad we got Star Wars ideas, but there's a parallel universe where the Defender program happens, and it's a showdown between Tarkin and Thrawn because I don't think Tarkin could handle Thrawn.
Yeah, whereas like Orson Krennic's a
Yeah, Krennic. I love
bitch.
I love
Krennic,
Krennic.
but
I
he's a
love
bitch.
Krennic. But yeah, he a bitch. He's choking on his aspirations, dad joke and all.
Yeah.
But
like Krennic cannot handle competing with Tarkin whatsoever. But Thrawn absolutely could hold up against him. And then there's also the idea of, are the TIE Defenders a better project that would have been more successful for the Empire versus the Death Star?
right.
Which that can be up to interpretation, because that's something, it's a what if. We don't know if the Defenders would have made a difference.
Well, the problem is that the Death Star is not successful to the point that it's the thing that cripples the Empire. The first one was destroyed, and they have now built a second one because that's what they do. And so all the resources go into that instead of bringing fear in the line. They should have just built new ships. They bought a stronger fleet. I think Thrawn's right in the long run.
Yeah.
Because
In the long run, yeah.
in the long run, I think Thrawn because Thrawn's always playing the long game.
Yeah.
And so
No,
Krennic's
also, I think, though, I also think once the TIE Defenders are done, Thrawn leaves. Because he takes everything he now knows about how to develop the TIE Defenders, takes all the TIE Defenders with him to the unknown.
Thank you for reminding me. Do we get Eli Vanto in this show?
Ooh, Eli Vanto. So, Eli Vanto is basically the Watson to Thrawn's Holmes.
Okay.
So when Thrawn appears to the Empire for the very first time before he joins the Academy and goes through it, he gets assigned to this like private or ensign.
Yeah, he's an ensign.
He's
Yeah.
an ensign. He's an ensign, and so
Because he's the only character who understands Thrawn's language that
Right.
he's
And-
communicating in, which he's not speaking in Chiss. He's speaking in...
it's a trade language.
It's a trade language,
It's a trade
yeah.
language because he's from the Outer Rim, and so he speaks this trade language. So they found a common language. So he's the only one who can kind of speak until Thrawn learns Basic, and
Which secretly Thrawn knows Basic
of
the whole
course
time.
Thrawn is awesome.
Because we now know that he did appear in the known regions of space during the Clone Wars, so
Right.
he knows
Right.
Basic.
But the thing about what I love about Eli Vanto is that like Thrawn is getting promoted because Thrawn is excellent, and Eli's not. Eli's just kind of like, and in fact, Eli's getting shit on because he's been ordered to follow this guy and make sure this guy does what he needs to do for the Emperor.
And of
But
course, the Empire hates aliens.
and they hate aliens. So since Eli Vanto's hanging out with the alien, they hate him, and so all the people who would promote him are not promoting him. So like Thrawn's like an admiral, but he's still an ensign.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the first book, he finally makes him a commander.
And it's almost out of spite that Thrawn's succeeding, because every attempt that the higher ups try to do to stop Thrawn from succeeding, he just keeps going, and they're like, well, we have to promote him,
Right.
because if we don't, then it just proves that we're racist.
Right. And also,
Can't keep up the lie.
and also Thrawn keeps doing good things. It's like, well, he's excellent, right? We
Like,
should-
God.
And
so they're like,
also Thrawn is like buddy with the Emperor.
right, and,
because-
and they're like, well,
Damn,
as anyone
This
can
guy's
be,
really good.
as anyone
Still
can be
don't
buddy
like
with
him.
Emperor.
yeah, as much as anybody who can be.
so,
yeah.
so since they have to promote Thrawn, they just don't promote Vanto, and it's like,
And that's their way of getting to Thrawn, because they're like,
and it's a frustration through him through the book. It's a big deal. It's like he's an ensign. He should be having his own ship by now.
yeah.
And then
By the end of the trilogy, he's working with the Ascendancy.
you're right, which I knew about, but I haven't read. But I love this character. But the thing is that he's hung out with Thrawn so much, he thinks like Thrawn. That's what Thrawn was doing. He was training an ally the whole damn time.
Yeah.
because he plays the long game.
Yeah,
and
he's basically trading somebody that can be the go-between.
right. And so he sends him off. He promotes him and sends him off to the Unknown Islands to see the Chiss. So he's going to go learn from the. So right now he's learning from the Chiss.
Yeah,
And
because
so-
the Chiss have their own like
the
the Ascendancy, which is their version of the Empire.
Which is, I think, is the threat that they're all worried about for the first.
Well,
Order.
they're worried about the Grisk,
Yeah, but
which is described very much like the Vong, and I'm praying the Vong are.
God, I hate the Vong. All right, I'm out. I got work.
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
I hijacked like 45 minutes
We're
ago.
talking Rebels, Ahsoka, and Thrawn.
Oh man, guys, thank you for letting me invade. And Ruby, we talked Ruby. That makes my heart
Yeah.
sing. So, Seth, you and I just got closer because of that, man. So I'm looking forward to season 10.
Maybe we'll do a Ruby thing for you for the Mobcast.
Let's do a Ruby show. I'm all for it. More shows are better.
So,
Oh.
well, you have a good day. I know today's been hectic.
It hectic but good. I saw your parents.
Yep. I know they went.
I
to
hugged
that-
I
to
hugged
the
your
event.
mama's neck twice,
Yeah.
and I saw Uncle Henry and everybody. We talked about this on our podcast. A friend of the pod passed away, and so we had his
Yeah.
funeral, and it was a very lovely service. He loved it,
It's good.
and
Glad to hear.
not too many tears because it's been a couple weeks, and it was just a good.
So it was more of a wake than anything.
No, it's more of just a celebrate. Hey, this guy was dude. We're gonna miss him. He was a good dude, and it was like that's how I want my funeral to be. I don't want. I
Yeah.
want to wait.
A
Let you
good
guys.
funeral is a celebration of someone's
I just
life.
want, and that's what we did. We had a good celebration. So it was real nice. I'm out.
Yep. So let's talk comics.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
We're an hour and a half. To be fair, we talked video games a good
Yeah.
bit first.
So
So we're talking Star Wars 2020, Volume 5, Path to Victory, which is. So this is after all the Crimson Reign stuff. We're done with the Kira arc for now, until they come back. No, wait, no, it's done, right? No, it's not. It's not. We got one more Crimson thing, right? Yeah, we have Crimson Reign after this.
pretty sure.
So during this arc, though, Luke is trying to figure himself out
Yeah. Whew.
because he's got no master. His force abilities are acting all erratic. He barely has a lightsaber that he's connected to because he has the yellow blade right now. He doesn't have his blue because of what happened in Empire.
Because his hand got cut off, and so did that lightsaber.
And it's around somewhere, but he couldn't find it. So he has this lightsaber that's not his that he found, which that's not how.
Talk.
It's not great.
Leia, I need to talk to you. You have to be very careful about things you do with your right hand in this family. It can be a very disarming moment.
The rebellion is also like
That was dumb.
the rebellion is also kind of on a win
They
streak,
are-
well, a losing streak, but they're like starting to win again.
They're recovering.
Yeah,
They're regaining their footing.
because they finally reunited most of their
Yeah.
fleet, especially after defeating what's her name, the one that was like Tarkin's like prodigy, the one that was hunting all of them down the last time we talked, like
Oh God.
because there was that
I don't remember her name.
yeah, the one that Leia faced off with one-on-one, which was great.
Oh, the fucking idiot that called in and let her know the I lived bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's stupid. You shouldn't tell your enemies if you're alive or dead.
Even if you are like think you're the hot thing,
Yeah.
like
It's much better to catch them by surprise. I don't know why you chose. Also, I'm really sorry about this. I gotta go to the bathroom.
you need a break. Okay, we'll take a quick break then, and we'll come right back. I don't have a Star Wars one ready, so just be prepared to listen to Baldur's Gate music while we wait. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
We had to take a quick break.
Yeah.
So Commander Zara is who we were thinking of before we took the break
Yes.
as the villain. But yeah, so the rebellion is kind of back on track with
Yeah.
where they were going, and they have a lot of leads of information regarding intel with the Empire.
Yeah.
And one of these intels is coming from a couple who are trying to escape the Empire that were working on the Death Star project for Death Star 2.
Star 2.
Second Son is the name of the operation. Because we see in one of the things when it transfers over to, we see Moff Jerjerrod working on. Jerjerrod, man, he's in a tough position as being in charge of that project.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jerjerrod, we see him working on it, and it says in the little text that it's Operation Second Son.
I see.
I did a little quick glance just to remind myself of the story for this one. You actually read it proper.
Yeah.
I'd read it before. It'd just been a minute, so I just skimmed.
Oh god.
But yeah,
Couple just snaps that lady's neck.
So this couple is on the run, and they do reach out with an emergency broadcast to the rebellion to help them, saying, "Hey, we've got information if you can save us."
Yep. Because Kira sent out the just start fucking things up signal.
Yeah, and they were working for Kira.
Yep.
And they said, "Well, best thing we can do is run away and ask for help from the rebellion."
Another member of Crimson Dawn has appeared. How many fucking where?
They're everywhere.
Why?
They're everywhere.
Why are they everywhere?
How
did you get here?
And so,
How did you know?
Is it Hera that's in this comic that says? Yeah, Hera's the one that's like, yeah, it's low on our list of intel because we aren't sure how reliable it is.
Yeah.
And so Luke's like, well, I'll go check it out, and I can do it by myself. I don't because you don't have to send a bunch of people to look into it.
Yeah.
It'll save you some resources. And so
I'm one dude,
yeah,
a very powerful dude, but
I'm one guy.
I'm still at the end of the day one guy.
And it will give him a chance to kind of, because Luke is trying to do good.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to rebalance himself, and he's like, okay, I need to do something. I can't just sit here. Even though a lot of people admire him still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we get Yvonne, who is from the Leia comic that we haven't gone over yet. She's a friend of Leia, and an Alderaanian who survived the destruction of Alderaan. And so she admires Luke, and she's like, show us your cool lightsaber trick again.
Like, it's not a toy. This isn't like something I should be doing.
And on top of
do
that,
it anyway.
on top of that, he's been studying the Jedi text that he has. And so Luke goes off, and we get this cool adventure of him saving this family.
Yeah.
And I think, it's kind of a rebalancing moment for Luke, because he does find he finds that in helping this couple, it does help him.
Yeah.
Because
I think sometimes they're a bit slept on, but I think my favorite thing to rewatch is people getting, for lack of a better term, back in the saddle after a crushing defeat.
And that's kind of what the 2020 Star Wars run has been, which is just the entire rebellion getting back on the saddle after Hoth and being like, how do we recover from all that?
Because it's like, damn, I got my ass beat.
And
how am I going to make sure that doesn't happen again?
And in the case of Luke, it's a crisis of faith moment for him, because he has no mentors. Ben isn't reaching out to him. Yoda, he chooses not to go back to Yoda. It's on him on that one. And even Yoda calls him out on it later. Yoda's like, you chose not to come back to me. I didn't. But that's a different story arc. And so, it's a crisis of faith for Luke. And so we're getting that, which I think is a good, for a religious, because the Jedi are a religious sect, so it's good to have a crisis of faith arc.
Everyone should have a crisis of faith once in a while.
It can be healthy.
Yeah. We haven't really gone over this, peeling back the curtain. I am not religious. You are a little bit, but not, terribly so.
No, I'm not throwing it down
not
people's throat.
hard recruitment,
No.
which thank God. Yeah, that's
I
right.
think.
I'll commit
I mean,
sacrilege
I think it's the. I think you just live your life and
Yeah.
people will see it.
and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in terms of getting back
Yeah.
to the
Like
comic,
Christ.
there are kind of like two ways to sort of see. There's either back in the saddle or the fight's over, I'm done.
Yeah. And I think in the case of, I think in the rebellion that they're going back in the saddle.
Yeah.
They are going. We took these big losses, but we can't let them slow us down.
Yeah.
And then
I think
Luke saving those people is even more important because not only is he saving these people, he goes to Coruscant to do it, which is like the most dangerous place he can go right now.
Yeah. And he gives his lightsaber because he's like, I can't rely on this while I'm here.
Yep.
It'll attract a lot of attention.
So we get to see Luke without his lightsaber still,
Yeah.
and he proves himself, I think. And so, and in a way, it's almost a very Jedi test because a Jedi, while the lightsaber is a weapon and and it's very important to a Jedi, you also shouldn't rely on
At
it.
the end of the day, a lightsaber
It's a tool.
is a tool. It's not everything a Jedi is.
And so, and I think it's an important lesson to be able to give up the lightsaber and still be able to save the day and rely on the Force instead, which is what he does in this arc. And that's
Also,
really
sewer ghouls are a thing on Coruscant.
yeah.
I didn't know about that.
That's
that
a
was
new one.
New.
That's a new one. And then that's most of the arc, but the last 2 to 3 issues
Yeah, they're like
is a lead up to what's the main arc of the next volume, which is so our main rebellion characters, so Luke, Leia, Lando, and Chewie are finally like, okay, we need a vacation.
Yeah.
And so they go on a vacation with Leia's friend Amlin Holdo, who, if you've seen The Last Jedi, we know who Holdo is.
Yeah.
She's the purple-haired leader. And this she has pink because she changes her hair a lot.
Yeah.
This is when she's still young and vibrant and changes her hair a lot more often. And so Amlin joins them and is like, hey, I actually have... So I brought you here on this vacation because I have a mission for us.
Mhm.
And Leia's like, well, which is it? Are we on vacation or a mission? And she's like, why not both?
Yeah.
I love Amlin in this storyline.
It's like Leia's like, I don't want to fucking break time is not now.
Yeah, Leia also doesn't want to be on vacation.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing. She's like, I want to be doing something. And it's like, well, Mon Mothma said, and she's like, well, because Mon Mothma's always like, hey, you should take a break when it comes to Leia.
Fucking fine.
Like, we talked about this during Princess and the Scoundrel. Mon Mothma's always always the one pushing Leia to take a break.
Take a breather, goddamn. You work for us all.
And so, Leia's like, oh, thank God, you have an assignment. Let's do this. And it's like, and Amlin's like, well, it's also still a party that we're going to, so we're going to have some fun. And Leia's like, God damn it.
Meanwhile, Lando is still...
Lando's like, oh, hell yeah, a party. But also, like, still trying to earn the trust of everybody because of
after-
Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody lets that go.
Yeah, no. Nor,
Is Lobot's not in this?
Lobot's in this.
Okay.
They're not, like...
They're not relevant, like, heavily relevant.
They're not terribly relevant, no.
Um...
But they are there, and Lando does go and check in on them.
Yeah, because Lobot also is just getting critically worse and worse.
Yeah, he basically goes and visits him in the hospital.
Yeah, so Lobot's not like I thought I remembered that correctly. He does not go on the mission with them.
Yeah.
So they go to this auction, which is also a ball going on. And thankfully it's a masquerade ball, so they can all wear masks, thank goodness. Cause, and Lando is acting as like the man in the chair for the mission, because he's like overseeing on comms. And I think Chewie is also with him, so that because Chewie would be too recognizable.
Yeah.
because a Wookiee at a Imperial ball would
Would
not go well.
Raise a lot of alarm bells.
And like Lando points out, like, yeah, it's a good thing you guys have those masks because like the three heavily most wanted individuals.
Yeah. The galaxy's most wanted.
Yeah.
Billion double dollars.
Yeah. And so during the auction, they are fighting against this one really rich guy to
Yeah.
get this engine.
And Lando's like,
Lando tells Luke, "Hey, don't use the Force to win this because
it'll look real weird.
he'll suspect something because I've seen this guy before.
Yeah.
He's not to be trifled with.
The best thing to do is just let him win now.
Let him win now, and then we'll rob him."
Yeah. That basically is the plan.
Yeah.
The plan is we will rob this guy later after.
Once he's got the engine on his ship,
Oh.
and so that's exactly what they do. They
So we should probably
So do you want to talk
just
about
a
what this
quick
engine
reason
is?
Why
Why?
they
Oh
need
yeah, why they need it. So Amlin,
while the
Amlin's-
rebellion is regaining footing,
they don't have fuel.
they don't have the resources to keep it up.
Yeah, they're running out of fuel.
Yeah.
Because gas is expensive, even in a galaxy far, far away. So Amlin's like, well, there's this legend about all this fuel that's out in the middle of nowhere, and we need specifically a path engine to get to it.
And they're like, that is a rumor.
A legend.
As no one 200 years ago. Right?
Two-
And then it's like,
yeah. The Kezerat is
Yeah.
the Kezerat fuel.
and
What
they're like, this is a long shot. And it's
Kezerat
like,
colony? That's what it is. The Kezerat colony.
and it's like, this is a long shot. And it's like, do you have a better idea? Aside, they're like, well, we could call up Crimson Dawn. And it's like, yeah, but can we trust them? And it's like,
Because they're still on the edge. Because this is after they've had their meeting with Kira.
yeah.
Because Kira was like, "Hey, I'm willing to help out if you just so just give me a call." And Leia's like, should I really call my boyfriend's ex for help?"
Maybe not. But also, it's basically that.
Yeah, it's the back and forth of like, should we?
Okay, we'll try and solve it ourselves first.
Yeah.
And then we'll ask for help.
Yeah. So they do manage to get the path engine.
Yeah.
They install it onto their ship, and they're like, it doesn't work. And then it does. Like at first they're like, it doesn't work, and then they bump it a certain way, and it just clicks, and then it sends them to no space,
Yeah.
which is our tie-in to the High Republic era.
Yep. No space is a dangerous place to be
Yeah.
if you're a Jedi like
Luke. Were you gonna say? Well, I mean, if you were gonna keep the rhyme, it would have been like me, but you're not.
I'm
a
not.
Jedi.
I don't support them.
The Jedi aren't that bad. It's
No,
certain
they're
Jedi.
not evil.
It's certain Jedi.
They're not evil. I don't. It's the principle of the matter.
And they're not really like a West. They're not like
No.
a Western religion.
They're not.
And so a lot of
The closest I think is like Zen Buddhism.
well, it's supposed to be. George himself said it's Buddhism and monks and all that stuff, being Zen and all
Yeah.
that,
but that's a different.
and Hinduism and cultures like that. Not,
Yeah, that's a whole.
But
thing.
the problem is we as Americans tend to take our Western religion trauma and place it on the Jedi, and it's like that's not accurate.
You're right. It's not. However, it doesn't mean
Doesn't mean that we
Right.
still can't place our trauma onto the Jedi for no reason. Okay.
no. I was going to say there's some things that I have to say, but
No, yeah.
I don't want to say them right now.
It doesn't fit this particular conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Luke's Jedi is a little bit different than.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy seeing Luke's journey, like to try and be a better Jedi,
Yeah.
because a lot of the Force is just do it and hope for the best. That's really what it is.
I also think that for like Yoda, this is a chance at a redo.
Yeah,
Because Yoda, like we see the High Republic is the ideal of the Jedi. The prequel is a kind of separation of the ideal where they start to lose their idealisms.
Yep.
And then the original trilogy is a rebirth of the Jedi with a idea of, well, we can kind of go back to our idealistics, but we can also change some things that
Yeah.
didn't work last time. And then the sequel trilogy is, hey, my Jedi also made mistakes. Here's what you can do, Rey, to improve it, and then we're going to see what Rey does with her version of the Jedi. Because a religion that is trying to do what's right changes over time.
Yeah.
Because they don't stay in their ways. They realize that there's growth.
Regardless of wherever you are or whatever you believe or however things are going to
Personal
play
growth
out.
is important.
Yeah, and you also have to kind of adapt to the time that you're living in.
Yep.
Like, for example, we can't hold the same. Well, you could. It probably wouldn't be a great idea to hold the same beliefs from like 400 years ago today.
It wouldn't work.
Yeah,
Like, you could try, but you would
At
run
the
into
end,
a lot
it's
of problems.
it's going to be problematic.
Yeah. And so I think that's what we're seeing, because 200 years have passed between
Yeah.
what we, in canon Star Wars, we have seen over 200 years of history. It's a lot. So, and the Jedi have existed for most of that 200 years that we
Yeah.
see. We can say that they technically died out. Like, we can subtract some years during the Empire's reign, but even then, the Jedi still existed just as a smaller group.
Yeah.
And therefore, they still existed. So, and even then, that's when a lot of Jedi who were even raised by the prequel era Jedi were like, okay, some things about how we live our lives have to change
Yeah.
if we're going to survive as a religion. Like Kanan as a Jedi is entirely different than what he would have been if the Empire didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's nice seeing this, and so they get sent to no space, and they're like, "There's nothing here except for this platform."
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's try to leave.
Can't leave.
The engine just takes them back this way.
Whoops.
And so they get stuck on the platform because some droids attack them that are like the security for no space.
Yeah.
And as they're escaping these droids, they finally find some people that are surviving out in no space who save them.
Yes.
And that's where we leave off, is them
Yeah.
being saved by these people. This mystery group that are like, welcome to no space. And that's where we end the volume. Also, Luke lost his the Jedi text in the process. And his lightsaber is taken by one of the people that saved them.
Yep.
So, once again, Luke is without his weapon. And now he's without the Jedi text that he relies on so much also.
It's like, damn it, they took my
They took my
textbook.
They took my books.
I
That was
needed
my
those.
that was my instruction manual.
How to Jedi 101.
Overall, I think it's a pretty good arc for Luke.
Yeah.
Everybody else, it's kind of a weaker story so far. But we're gonna get more of them in the No Space volume. Because I think Leia doesn't get a lot to do.
Yeah.
Lando
Chewbacca definitely doesn't. He's
yeah,
there. but
Chewbacca's just there. He gets a little bit more with the No Space arc.
Okay.
Lando doesn't have a lot right now, but he's gonna get more. I did kind of like Lando as the man in the chair for the
Yeah.
he's like, I have insider information that you do not want to mess with this guy. Which definitely there's a story there where Lando once tried to screw this guy over and it did not go well, I'm expecting. But we don't ever get that story. But I do like that that's kind of there. We can imagine what Lando did. And
Lando, I didn't put a lot of points into a lot of things, but I insight and deception.
charisma.
Yep.
Charisma for sure with Lando.
That is his.
That's his main stat, is charisma. He could be a, if Lando wanted to, he could be a A cleric, I guess, because clerics are no paladin. Paladin.
There we go.
You'd be a paladin because that's charisma based.
What is it with everyone thinking they're not?
You can switch for clerics a little bit, but yeah, you don't have to be.
Never mind. I remember why. Why people think that they are. The quick clarification on that is for some reason, like in
Was it one of the
Pathfinder in third
Pathfinder.
edition, that your
Main stat for magic is
no, it's still wisdom, but for magic it is wisdom, but for like one of your I forget what they call it. Like turn undead was
turn undead, yeah,
no, not that's what it kind of does.
for
I'm
your
trying to
divine
remember.
magic or whatever it's
I'm
called.
trying to remember what like the secondary thing that clerics get.
It's their divine stuff or whatever it's called. I got it. I got
Yeah,
it.
You can look it up real quick.
But while I'm looking that up, thoughts overall on the arc.
I don't mind it. It's not bad. Oh, how you feel about the rebellions? Like, we're just gonna show up to this like parade in Coruscant.
No, Barleth. It's,
Barleth.
Yeah, it's Barleth because it's the Barleth Academy, which is where, because the Barleth University that Dr. Afra went to.
Yeah, how do you feel about them?
I think it's great.
doing
I
that.
think it's great and it's funny. Like the reactions of the Imperials during that, they're like, "God, we got attacked! Oh my God, what are we gonna do?"
Fuck, I thought this was an Outer Rim problem.
Channel divinity.
Yeah. It's
So-
your
so it
channel
is divinity, yeah.
So in Pathfinder in third edition, that's based off of charisma,
Mm-hmm.
but your magic is still based.
So you
off
want
of wisdom.
both. You want a high
Yeah.
wisdom and charisma, yeah. But yeah, like I like that they go after. It's showing that the rebellion is starting to regain ground again, and starting to kind of
Yeah.
go back to the way that they were of like, okay, we are now powerful enough to go after like Barleth, which is a big place.
Yeah.
It's a very important place to. It's where the colleges are. I like it. I'd give it a 8.
I don't know if it's just because I'm tired, but I'm giving it a 7.
7. I almost gave it. I almost was there, but yeah, I can see it. So that is this week's episode.
Mhm.
What are we talking about next week?
That is a good question.
We are talking about Han Solo and Chewbacca Volume 2. The Crystal Run Part 2.
Oh yeah.
So we get to wrap up the Han Solo and Chewbacca miniseries. Which was supposed to be an ongoing, but it became a miniseries, unfortunately.
Mm.
And I say unfortunately because I finished it, and there's so many things where I'm like, now I want more.
Yeah.
And you're going to see what I mean next week. So let's see. Yeah. So
How many episodes do we have left? Because we're.
we got a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Potentially 11 more.
11 more.
10 to 11 depending on Ahsoka, and
All right.
because I haven't put Ahsoka on the schedule yet, but we'll probably talk Ahsoka this season based on the fact that it's coming out pretty soon
Yeah.
and next month. And all right, so thank you all for watching. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick at Escape Reality Films. Also, be sure to check out my TikTok at Escape Reality Films. I am also on Instagram and Threads as Caleb.Lockwood. I am on Twitter at Escape Reality 94. And that's everything for those. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, all the things for those places. And you can also check out our Patreon if you want to support us that way, which is patreon.com/Escape Reality Films. For Facebook, if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, the link is there. And then and shout out to our Patreon member Jennifer Brantley. Thank you for supporting us every month. And
Thanks.
also, you can also check out our Discord and become part of the community. We've been talking a little bit more lately on there.
Yeah.
And that is linked down below, also on the Facebook, and even Kick has it linked. So all the places that you're watching us, there is a link for that. That's it for our stuff. We also want to shout out to Scotty's podcast and the Mopcast Network and Cult Movie Cantina, which I am a part of. I help co-producing. I'm a co-host on it. We just released for the last week. We put out our just cult meeting where we just kind of hang out and talk about whatever. But next week this week, upcoming week, we are releasing our next movie episode, which is we are talking about Flowers in the Attic, which is a very interesting film to say the least, and has a very interesting history regarding the book series.
Flowers in the attic.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it off screen.
Okay.
It's something.
All right.
And so you can find that on youtube.com/Mopcast Network. It is Mopcast Network on any fine podcasting app. And on Facebook, it is facebook.com/Cult Movie Cantina. And that is how you can find them. They also help provide the space that we use, so that's why we like to give them a shout out. The people that own the space, though, are Gamers and Geeks, our local gaming shop here in Mobile, Alabama. So if you're ever in the Mobile area, you can come check them out. They are on House Ferry and Moffett. I got it right for once, right off the bat, without having to struggle.
Yeah.
And they're in that little shopping center there on the corner behind the gas station. There's a little shopping center and a Piggly Wiggly, and it's in that area. And then they also there's also Engage Gaming, which is a video game rental sort of like console service where you pay an hourly rate and you can use their consoles in-house. So they've got PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC, VR, all the good stuff. And you can come check them out, pay them an hourly rate, and play their stuff inside the shop. I believe they provide games. They also sell some old classic games and some new games. So if you find a game that you want to get, you can buy from them as well. They also do a monthly membership where if you pay the monthly membership fee, you get a discount on the hourly rate for your usage of machines. I think it's like $60 a month, and you get I don't know how much you get off, but it's like $60 a month, so something like that, 30 to 60, something like that. Which still isn't bad at the end of the day. You're still saving money, especially if you don't have a like a PS5 or anything, like, because PS5s are expensive. Like, I was looking at, my dad wants to get a PSVR because he wants to get a boxing or like a exercise game.
Yeah.
And PSVR 2 has one. And I was looking at it, I was like, I told him how much it was. It's almost the same price. It's almost the same price as getting a PlayStation 5.
Oh.
And you need a PS5 to use a PSVR 2. Because you have to have a PlayStation to go with the PSVR headset.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, yeah, you're definitely saving money.
Yeah.
And then, like, the VR machines here are I believe they're the Oculus headsets. So, yeah, come check them out. And as for, like, Gamers and Geeks, they've got, like, mini war game type stuff. They've got an arcade in the back that you can pay $10 and get a wristband for the day, and it's free play machines, so you don't put quarters in. You just walk up to the machine, can play it. They also do like Magic Nights on Wednesday, I believe, and they do D&D Adventurers League on Sundays. So there's always something going on. I believe that's everything except for your thing.
Yep. So every Sunday from 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, unless personal matters come up, you can catch some friends of ours over on twitch.tv, Steam, all caps, _dungeon, on Trials of Nebu. I'm not up to date with what's happening because I've had to step away due to work, but you should still
Yeah. Still
watch
check
it.
them out. Like
pretty
they're
entertaining.
yeah, they're fun people.
Yeah.
John was actually showing me. He sent me a message today.
We also have the first episode out on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Is it also Steam _
No.
No. It's what's
It's Trials of Nebu.
oh, it's just Trials of Nebu.
Yeah.
So it's youtube.com/Trials of Nebu, or is it, or did y'all not get that name yet? Because I know you have to have so much to get the. I might have spelled that wrong.
Yep, there we go.
Oh, it is on Steam. It is Steam Dungeon.
Yeah.
That is the YouTube channel. So if you look for @Javon456,
Yep.
you'll get, and that's
By the
JEVAUGHN 456.
Just a heads up warning, the main thing are the first thing that back up.
Yeah.
When you
Go back to the
go
home.
back to the previous page.
Oh, okay.
Just a heads up, if you're uncomfortable with snakes and multiple eyes, if
Yeah,
you have,
that's like the main. That's like the main image for the first video.
that is the main image. So if you don't like snakes or eyes looking around,
yeah,
uh,
not for you probably.
not for you.
And I partnered with this particular channel before because we did that Fallout 4 co-op run. Because I had some of the videos and they had some of the videos on each of our channels.
Yep.
Because we would take turns on posting early on the videos for it. Because I think, yeah, we both had part 1. I had part 2. They took part 3. I took part 4. So, and that was us having fun. That was when Fallout 4 first came out, and we were having fun with the fact that you could play. You could have the Pip-Boy on your phone because there was an app for it. And so what we would do is we had one person playing the game and then another person on the Pip-Boy.
All right. But yeah, 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, Steam _dragon
Or Dungeon.
on, Dungeon.
Yeah, on twitch.tv. And then it's Javon456 on YouTube.
Yep.
But if you just look up Trials of Nebu, you'll find it. I don't know if I'll link the YouTube down below, but I might.
All right. But I think that's everything. So
Yeah, that's everything. So once again, we'll see you all next week to talk. What did I say? Han and Chewbacca, Han Solo and Chewbacca, Volume 2. Have a good week. I've spoken.